Should there be a cap on the number of international students admitted to Canada?
It depends on from what country, what countries.
What do you mean?
Well, I think countries that don't share our values, I would like to see less student visas for. But overall as a whole, I wouldn't just want to cap the amount of international students. I would say it would depend on where they're from. So some countries that I think are adversarial, we should cut back on the visas.
What about reasons for housing or affordability?
I would say they should potentially put more onus upon the universities themselves to provide more housing.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think it's something that I think we have to think about carefully. I don't think it's a one size fits all solution. I think you have to look. You can't expect just an international cap to solve what we're doing in terms of talent shortages. Look at how we're doing a balance between Canadian workers and also bringing in talent. So I think it has to be looked at more closely.
I guess it would depend on if it's making people here suffer. If it's pushing people who should be here out. I think we should take care of Canadians here first, and then take care of anybody abroad as much as we can.
Yes and no. My partner was an international student, so at that time it benefited him to be able to come to Canada, and I could see why people would want to come to Canada, but at the same time it can make the job market harder for Canadians as well in opening positions, and also housing, but there just in general needs to be more affordable housing.
I think maybe, as a housing crunch, as you know, as everyone worried, and all the students come in, they got to live somewhere.
And if they're going to be here, they have to be able to afford to be here. Because I hear a lot of them use our food banks. I have no problem with that. However, when it's continuous, that means they didn't come with enough money. So they have to be vetted a little bit more stringently, I think, if they're going to be here.
Well, that's a tough question because, yes, we want students coming to Canada, but we got to have accommodations for them, of course. And if accommodations is a problem, then maybe we can't accommodate them.
No, I don't think so. I think, especially here in Newfoundland, I went to Memorial myself. Memorial is very prominent in international students. I don't think that's a bad thing because it also draws new Canadian citizens to the country who might have medical degrees or different types of business degrees, and I think diversity is quite fine. I don't think that's an issue right now, and I don't think it's an issue in our universities.
We should invite as many smart people to this country as possible. This country was built on inclusiveness, and we need to bring in all these smart people. The other countries are losing out because we're getting all the brain power coming this way. So it's great for us. Keep it coming.
Well, look, the government knew about the crisis in the housing sector many years ago. It's only now that it's become a crisis that they're starting to deal with it. So they should have dealt with and planned with this. They knew what was going to happen. Mr. Byrne has been praising everything to the hilt about the international people that's moving in. They're increasing our population. They're having families and so on. I just think that we had to look at home first before we start bringing people in that's going to look for the same thing that many of our residents are looking for.
I think it would be a very good idea if we could let anybody in as an international student. I know it's a really great opportunity for a lot of people in the world. I think we need to work on the system we have to welcome these students so we have a place for them to stay and resources for them to use when they do get here.
You ask a very difficult question. I'm very supportive of immigration, expanding our borders, people of different cultures and backgrounds coming in. That's what's made the country over the years. Unfortunately, in the process of doing that, we've not really collectively done enough about housing, for one thing, and other issues related to it as well. So I've forgotten the exact wording of the question, but I would like to see as many immigrants as possible, but they need housing as our homeless do.
I do know that there is a shortage of food in food banks because a lot of international students are coming in without truthful proof of how much money they're coming here with. And I sympathize with that, but I also sympathize with the people who need food from the food banks. So it's really hard to have a strong opinion on this one, I think, yeah.
I think the country needs immigrants fundamentally going forward in large numbers. So to me, at this point in time, I don't agree with the cap on international students.